we were planning on doing Tobacco Row Mountain Overlook.
Oh, yeah.
Doing that and then do, what was the other one? Enchanted Creek Trail.
Yeah.
And then camping down at Peaks of Otter.
Nice.
But I also didn't reserve a campsite, so there was probably no camping available.
Yeah, it stays pretty hopping. And I think they're short on some sites, too, because they had some bad wind damage back in the summer.
Okay.
That's funny you mentioned Enchanted Creek. I just brought that up to some guys from Toyota yesterday. They went up to Flagpole Knob. And I told them, I was like, that Enchanted Creek's kind of weird because it's open in the winter. Normally it's the opposite. They shut stuff down, but it comes up in, I think it's like August 31st they open it, and it's open through the spring.
I didn't expect anybody to reach back out. They're like, yeah, come do a podcast with Expo. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's sweet.
No, I mean, Jessica, one of the lead people for Expo, was like, hey, these guys want to do a podcast. I'm ping you in with them. We'll figure out a time. I was like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah. So we're up here at Overland Expo East with Rick Stowe, contractor rep for Overland Expo.
Yeah, editorial director. Stuff you see on the site, either wrote it, laid it out, edited it, stuff like that.
Oh, we got to get checked out with Tom. Tom wants to start doing a blog.
Yeah.
Nice. And his
multiple streams of income thing.
The last time he wrote was in college.
That's not true. I write every day. Just don't publish it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this is a cool event. How did you get tied in with Overland Expo?
Oh, gosh. So through Overland Expo, I guess would be like the short version of that. I was riding for like a gear site where we didn't get paid, and we usually paid for the gear we were riding about. A really small site that's gone now. And it would have been the very first Expo East. I was there at Taylor Ranch down in North Carolina, Cane Creek area. And actually was just, media there covering the event for that little site. And Frank Ledwell from Outdoor by 4 magazine, and I started chatting, and he's like, hey, you want to start writing for me? So did that for a while, and then, hit a bunch of different events, been to most of the East events, been to West.
Oh, nice. So you're traveling all over.
Yeah. Now I go to all the shows. But then actually a couple of years ago, Overland Expo was looking to add a editorial type position, associate editor at that point, and they reached out and was like, do you have any freelancers at the magazine? And I was like, that's interested? And I was like, no, because I am. And that's it. That would have been maybe like May or June of 21. And I've been hitting up the events at this point. I've been to all of them. And
what's your favorite one?
That's kind of a tricky.
We were just talking about next year maybe going to West in Arizona.
So I tell people like everybody should go to West once. West is a whole different monster, but it's been there in Flagstaff. It's been there at Tut Hill for years and years now. It's moved around a couple, like early days, it moved around out there, but it's been there for a long time, and it is absolutely massive. And I mean, this is a big event,
it's huge.
200 plus, vendors out here. I don't even know how many campers yet. I haven't heard that number this weekend.
Well, just in our campsite. So we're with a group that got permission. We're right next to the Bronco Nation.
Yeah.
With the F-Bomb Overlanders. We're with the F-Bomb Overlanders, and we just in our campsite we have probably 30 vehicles.
Yeah, at least.
Nice. Yeah.
Wild.
And it's kind of crazy. I think this is the smallest one,
Yeah.
But everybody should go to West once. It's really cool. Plus, Northern Arizona is just amazing.
Yeah.
Like you can literally leave the event. If you went out there on Sunday, and probably in an hour be up in the cinder cones north of town there in Flagstaff, which is like off-roading on the moon is what I tell people. That's what it feels like. And then PNW. So actually, I've only been to the PNW event once. That's only been a couple years. That is a really cool area, though. It's in the dead center of Oregon, kind of just around the Bend, Redmond area there. It's a really cool fairground, so it's a really nice layout and everything. And it's neat because you're at the event and then you're looking over and seeing like the sister summits with snow on them,
That's
like
awesome.
in the distance. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I've never really experienced the out west stuff. The only time I've really experienced out west is when we went to SEMA this year, and I kind of got to experience a little bit of the Grand Canyon because we drove through.
We spent the night in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And that's why it's on my list. We were there in a rental car with a deadline, and we were like,
yeah,
shit, I could spend like another week here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, the West has got tons and tons of like opportunities to get out and kind of whatever level of difficulty you're looking for off-roading, you can find it out there.
Yeah, and we were talking about this morning too. Is like we look at all these big earth roamers and we're like, where do you use these? And we're like out west.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. I mean, there's half a dozen here. I'm sure it's packed with earth roamers.
Right. Yeah. Just expedition style vehicles because they're not dealing with the green tunnels that we have here, and stuff like that where. It doesn't matter how capable it is. Geometry will defeat you. Like if the two trees are 10 feet apart and your rig's 12 feet wide.
Yeah.
So
square peg, round hole.
Yeah, exactly. But no, you see some cool stuff, and it's funny actually. I drove out in 2018 for West, and we were it was maybe New Mexico, and we started hitting some like campsites, and would see folks like that were on their way to Overland Expo as well. And like the expedition rigs. So. Yeah.
How did Overland? Do you know how Overland Expo found Arrington, Virginia?
Yeah, so Jessica,
this is a cool Virginia spot. Like the Virginia 4x4 Association. Yep. Like we personally, we've never wheeled here, but like
technically we did with Honda this.
We did with Honda yesterday.
Yeah. No. So East moved around quite a bit. Gosh, don't quote me on these, but it was like Taylor Ranch in 14 and 15. Then it went to Biltmore for.
Asheville's awesome.
Yeah, it was on like the back of the side of the Biltmore property.
Oh, so it was on Biltmore property?
Yeah, down next to the river.
That's probably a cool venue.
That was probably really cool.
It was pretty slick. It had its challenges, like with like food vendors. You couldn't have outside food vendors and stuff like that. It was cool though. It was there 16, I think. Let's see, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, and then in 18 it went to Rebranch, which is another little, relatively small, I should say, venue in North Carolina near Asheville. Really rough weather challenges, and they just did not have the infrastructure like there is kind of here with the track and stuff like that. Yep. And then so in 19 it moved up here, and the first year it was on the back side of this property, but since then it's been here. Yeah. And now I really like it because folks, the 81 corridor is like right over the mountain kind of.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and you're right up. We're literally off 29. We hear trucks at night, unfortunately, but we hear trucks rolling through at night. But yeah, it's an awesome spot. The racetrack does make it like really convenient just to walk around and get to everything.
Camping is nice and flat.
Yeah, camping is nice and flat. If you're inside the racetrack, which we are.
Yeah, and it's funny because like I've got some friends that are here that are relatively local, and they come to this event every year, and they want to be up on the hill camping. Like they love being up right up on the edge of the trees and stuff, and they like that because they can hear at this event you can kind of like claim some space, like that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this is our second year here, our first year camping, and hopefully our third year here we're gonna be a vendor.
Oh, nice.
So we're working some stuff out with. Some local buddies and a vendor that's already here that Tom's a dealer for.
Yeah, so we sell Skinny Guy Campers. We're the Virginia dealer.
Yeah.
And they're with like their growth and everything, they're looking to have the dealers start taking over the local shows.
Yeah.
So we're hoping next year trying to figure out a combination of that and get the shop involved and podcast involved. And have some fun.
A lot of fun because like even from my first experience at a show was SEMA. And then we were here last year, but we didn't do any networking.
Well, you weren't prepared for it.
No, I had no idea what to expect. I did not expect.
Yeah.
I don't know, 20,000 of our closest friends to be here with all their rooftop tents. I don't know how many people are here, but that feels right. I don't know.
No, yeah. Honestly, last year you're probably not off a bunch. I think last year was like 18.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So many
people. I remember you like being like completely overwhelmed and leaving here going, I got to get my shit together for SEMA. And we're like, yeah.
Like today, Friday at this event, most of your campers are coming in, and your campers, they're not in a rush. So they don't they're not all in the venue space or the exhibitor space at once. They'll hang out at camp. Saturday is your big, day past day. Folks that are coming in, they were probably honestly already here, at this point in the day, and they're going to stay until the gates close. So,
yeah, we did that yesterday. We woke up, we walked the expo, came back, made lunch, sat down, had a beer, got back up, walked the expo again, met more people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of good people and a ton of really cool products here. What's your favorite product or what's your not favorite product? I know it's probably hard.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But what do you think the next line of innovation is, or the next coolest product? Because SEMA does
the new product.
The new product showcase.
Yeah, like innovators or whatever. Yeah.
That'd be a cool idea for expos. Do like a new product or
like a. Oh man, I got to think. It really depends. What are you looking for? because my last rig, my Tacoma, I had like a wedge style camper on it with a bit of an interior build, stuff like that. I've got a ZR2 now.
Oh, that's what I wanted.
Kept it.
I had to buy a Jeep. I didn't have to buy a Jeep, but the Jeep was the best deal.
Yeah.
The ZR2 is exactly what I wanted.
No, and this one kind of fell in my lap. I actually was looking for a Toyota. A friend's a manager of like the certified pre-owned or whatever at a Toyota dealership, and one day he texted me. He's like, "Dude, you got to come look at this truck." And like that came through before the link did. And I was like, "Oh, he must have found," because I was looking at Tacomas. The GX was kind of on my radar, and he sent that, and I was like, "Huh."
Yeah.
And it was it sounds like such a cliche story, but it was like an older guy who got it. And it's white, and we put it up on the lift, and like the pinch seams didn't even have dirt in them underneath. I don't think he ever drove it in the rain.
Damn.
Yeah, and so got a really good deal, and it was just like I couldn't pass it up. It's front and rear lock, multimatic suspension on it.
Yep.
Only thing I did was put some different wheels and tires on it, and Alu cab, Explorer canopy.
Nice.
Got a roof nest tent, and then I did a 40% seat delete so I could put my fridge in the cab. That's something I wanted to do for a while. We've got a little bit of a small farm, and so I like having my bed, available, all of it, versus putting a slide back there.
I get that.
And I've really liked having the fridge in the cab. Honestly, it's really handy.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
I've been complaining all weekend going up and down the ladder into the camper to get to the fridge. I'm like, I got to put an outlet outside the camper so I can take the fridge out.
And my Jeep's completely stocked, so I'm just running ice in a cooler.
Yeah.
And it all melted this morning, so.
Yeah, and yesterday was a lot hotter, I think, than everybody expected. No,
oh my gosh, it was so hot yesterday.
Yeah. So, okay, but product, geez, man. I'm working on an article that I do for every single event that's like, the best gear of. But picking out one, that's tough.
You don't have to pick out one. Pick out one of your favorite. One of your favorite. You don't have to drop your article.
I was just saying, Where do you see the innovation coming from?
Okay, yeah.
Better question.
So I think honestly,
I know what you meant.
If you want to dive in like to the space, I think we're on like a second wave. Like because like Expo or Overland Expo, is where you kind of get to see like the what's distilled down in the community and in the market. And I think probably in like 2018 was like one of the peaks of like, a bunch of new brands and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, now you don't see them, a lot of those, like they're gone. But I think we're getting into another cycle. Okay. And the other thing I've noticed is like maybe products from other spaces or maybe even international are realizing that
if you look over there, products from other spaces is a Volkswagen with a rooftop tent on it.
That's very true, yeah. And actually, there's a guy in my town that's got like a Touareg that has
that's cool.
A rooftop tent, and he mountain bikes. There's a lot of mountain biking around here, and I think he just goes to races and stuff, and just it's
wants a convenient place to live out of for the weekend.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think that's one of them. Is probably like other spaces are like starting to realize the things they offer here. You don't have to go out and go like Willen, or we're not bounce buggies, and rock all rock crawlers out here.
Well, that's what the reps from, because last year we were impressed with Honda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This year we're impressed with Honda, and that's what the Honda people were saying is like we're not building a vehicle to do rim runner or rim rocker, whatever it is, rim rocker or anything. We're building a vehicle for the normal person to just go out and explore and have a little fun and not have to beat their stuff up and just be able to get places you can't normally get to, but and have a nice vehicle to live out of.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I think we're seeing, and this has probably been the last 18 months, maybe 24 months, is I think that some of the big like manufacturers are realizing that like, like the weight this market carries, the buying power and like the influence. And realizing like, wow, we can just get on this on a much deeper level. Like, last night we did the Toyota Fireside Chat, and they got the Trail Hunter down there, which that debuted, at West earlier this year, back in May. First time the public reveal or whatever. And, that thing is like one of those trucks, kind of how I see the ZR2, that, you can literally roll it off the lot, throw your tent and your cooler and your camp stove in the back and go on a trip. It's got practically everything you need.
Yeah.
Ford did that with the massive backlog of ARB parts that you can get, bolted onto a Bronco. Toyota with the new Trail Hunter trims and some of the other things that they're working on with a lot of like dealer installed parts and stuff like that. So you don't have to go like piecemeal, from scratch on like a stock vehicle. Yeah. You can start kind of like halfway up the chart and then just make it your own. So.
Yeah, I'm impressed by the manufacturer presence you have. I know it's just GMC and Toyota.
And Honda.
Polaris. Yeah, Honda Polaris. Yeah, exactly. Jesus, never mind. I can't. I don't know what's
Harley actually.
That was amazing. I was like, what the hell is Harley doing here?
Yeah.
How long has Harley been in the game?
So they actually, since the Pan American debuted, gosh, I'm not as nearly as up on the moto
3
stuff.
or 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't that long
That's
ago.
wild. I did not expect to see a Harley dual sport.
They've been at least 1 or 2 shows a year, I think, since then. Yeah, and I mean again, I'm not a moto guy, but that's just a gnarly looking bike.
Yeah, it's nice.
I will say that folks here seem to be enthusiastic about them. So that's kind of the barometer I have to use. So.
Yeah, we've always said that when we actually start making money doing this, that we're going to buy adventure bikes.
Yeah.
Just to go rip around in, because we're
we talk about doing it with a Honda Grom. That's not quite an adventure bike. But
that would be fun too.
It would be fun
because we're in
affordable.
We're in Northern Virginia in the Winchester area, so we're also surrounded by it.
Right.
So going for a day trip on a Grom which would be wild.
We'll make
a
it
fun
with
video.
my fat ass on it.
Just adventuring on a bike. I feel like that's so much. I don't know if it's easier, but I grew up riding dirt bikes, so I think it's fun. And
and I mean, I think there's like a certain amount of like, the freedom of 2 wheels. You're exposed. You're not in the vehicle. It's a little different experience. Yep. But I'm right there with you. Like I do a lot of trout fishing, and I've joked about getting like a TW250 or something.
Yeah.
And so I can just go bust around on fire roads, and then instead of having to get out of the truck to look at the creek, like you just pull up on the edge of the road and
step off the bike.
Yeah, and there it is. Yeah, so I just got to figure out how to get a rod tube mounted on a TW250. So
easy.
Yeah,
right next to the antenna.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, it's I see with the OEs coming in, I see a lot of the products going from like the lift kit, wheels, tires, bumpers to all the individualized storage stuff.
I'm gonna get my notebook out because we were talking about products and something I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I like when people make something that the end user can like develop further and make it their own.
Yep.
There was a guy down there in a booth. It's Slogan base deck, and so it's like a Reese hitch kind of like platform that you put in your hitch there. And then they have all these different accessories. And so he had like Max Tracks and like a snowboard holder on one of them.
Oh, that's cool.
There was a cooler and one of the like solar showers, on another one. There's a bike rack attachment. And he was like, all this stuff's like interchangeable. And they even have all the like tech specs for the holes and, mounting options on their site. So if you want to get one and you're like, oh, I need it to hold something else, you can take it to a fab place and they've got the measurements and the specs.
That's awesome.
To build it. And I was like, cool. That's really cool, like.
Yeah, the cool thing that stood out to us yesterday was that little trailer.
Oh yeah, the Ushi, I believe it is, or something like that. It's like a
3-foot long trailer.
Okay.
That you can turn into whatever you want. They had a setup that was just a tow behind camp kitchen.
Yeah.
They had
it was like a full blown.
It was a full blown kitchen.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. There was a work cart one, and they had one set up for like tailgating.
Huh.
It was super cool.
When we get done, because I'm holding the mic and I can't write left-handed. Don't let me forget. I'll write that down and check it out.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was super impressed by that. Yeah. Except for they had DeWalt tools, so you got to get Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But budgets are a thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's all right.
Speaking of trailers, I noticed that Rustic Mountain was here. That's actually something that I saw out at West that I was really impressed with. I don't know if you guys have checked them out, but they have a cool partnership. There's a Go Fast camper essentially on top of it. And it will hold a dirt bike underneath, and there's like a goose gear storage system, so you can use it for like, put your bike in there, sleep up top, or if you're traveling with a family, put like an air mattress down low, put the kids in there, the parents up top, and it's a really well built trailer. Yeah. I think actually they're like Birmingham too.
I remember walking by there, I got distracted by Iron Man because my entire goal yesterday was to find a chair because I didn't.
So you bought a $3,000 chair.
So I bought a $3,000 chair.
Nice.
No, it was a $90 chair.
It was like
still too expensive for a chair, but it's a good chair. I did want to get back over there today because I've been talking on with Zach Deal, and I saw that he's set up right next to Rustic. I think.
Yeah, in that area. Yeah, no, those guys have a cool product. I'm not even a trailer guy, but I saw that. And I was like, that'd be really cool to like throw your bikes in there. And then haul them out somewhere. And then even if you had the whole family, you could still like sleep everybody in the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's obviously partner with some good folks like Go Fast and Goose Gear and stuff like that. So
I think I've always slept on the trailers just because like we're crawler guys, so we have to tow our Jeep somewhere. And then the idea of having your sleeping arrangement and living arrangement behind your rig like just doesn't sit well. But there is so much cool stuff in the trailer market, and like it's actually unique. Like they all kind of do the same thing, right? They're all a living space and a trailer, but they also all do it so differently that like you can really find one that fits your needs well. Like the dirt bike loading is that's pretty slick.
Yeah, and then it's a living space. I like how it's really modular, and I'm right there with you. Like had a small Jeep trailer for a while, but like I'm just too prone to go down dead ends. So like, you know,
that's us too.
Yeah, like I've done my fair share of extended backing out or the 96-point turn, and it's just one of those things where I'm like, I know a trailer is just
taillights are sacrificial.
Yeah. So but no,
I feel like the rooftop tent market is kind of tapped, so that is another thing where the trailers are coming in and doing the innovation, because I feel like there's a ton of tents here, and they're all cool and unique, but how cool and unique can you get, because it's a tent that goes on top of the truck?
Right, yeah.
So mounting it on something that gives you that living space, I think that is another spot where that trailer market is coming into.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I'm sure there will be a jump. It has been neat to see the rooftop tents in the last few years start, because you're talking about like Honda. Yeah. Start making some models. Like RhinoUsa has one they debuted. I think it debuted here last year. That's like a really lightweight, like meant more for crossovers.
Dometic had the inflatable one.
That was cool. That was really cool too.
Yeah, because some of these vehicles aren't going to be able to hold like a huge, a soft cover, vinyl cover rooftop tent. But the
pounds.
Yeah, and then now you're getting some. I think that the RhinoUsa one's like 75 or something like that. So
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I might have to wander through that booth too.
Yeah, we'll have to walk back to RhinoUsa.
Yeah.
And then speaking of Subarus, so we've got one. We have a Crosstrek. I love the guys from Torquemaster here that build the lockers for Subarus.
Yep. Oh, they have lockers for Subarus?
Yeah, rear locker kit.
You have a Torquemaster in the
front
XJ.
And rear. Front and rear in the XJ.
Yeah, they've got one of their Subies down there in the booth, and I'm like, that'd be pretty sick.
That would be sweet.
Like an outback wilderness, on 31s.
You spend enough time probably in the George Washington and the Jefferson and all the National Forest. You see Jeeps, but you see more Subarus than anything.
Oh yeah. No, I was going up Overstreet Creek a couple weeks ago doing a review for the Sequoia, and my photographer was like, "Oh, hey, there's somebody behind you." And, I got out of the way, and it was a Forester. Bopping up through there. And no, I mean, 100% had the capability. That trail's a little rocky. I don't think I've been rolling on like highway tires at street pressure, but they were, and
they were doing it.
We went out the top and didn't find them, so I guess they made it. So yeah. But no, you're right. I think for a lot of people, that's all they need.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of Subaru.
You got an all-wheel drive. They may have a center locking diff. I'm not sure. But it'll take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah, no, I think the closest they have is like the X mode, right? Yeah. Which like kind of like puts the power where it needs to go and stuff like that. That's on
my Subaru experience goes back to my college days.
I've got no Subaru experience.
But, we've had a Crosstrek for a while. We like it.
I was surprised they don't have a presence here, because as big of a market share as they have with the overland off-road community, for like the lighter market, not the big rock crawling stuff, but for the lighter market, like what you guys are advertising to, I'm surprised they don't have any presence here.
Yeah, you see them in like some booths and stuff, especially like at PNW. I remember there were a couple of vendors that had some really built Subies. But don't quote me on this. I don't know if they've ever actually been at a show. They may have. It may have been a while.
Maybe because they already know they have the market. So
true. Yeah.
I mean, just from the auto industry too, they don't do a lot of event stuff. Like, I mean, I know
they sponsor Travis Pastrana and that's it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Well, like even when him and Ken Block were both driving for Subaru, like they don't do a ton of factory motorsport. Like they have like a couple teams and that's it. Like, their marketing plan really isn't into the aftermarket as much as the aftermarket is into Subarus.
Yeah. Kind of like Jeep.
Yeah.
Right. And I think sometimes that comes into conversations of like, you've already got the enthusiasts. You don't have to go recruit them. It's where you want to put your energies. I get that on the business side.
Yeah. Like we talk about it all the time though. Like I think Bronco really sparked the OEs to really push the envelope.
Yeah.
And like it's fun as an enthusiast, as a consumer, as a shop. Like I love seeing the Trail Hunter. Jeep is kind of starting to step up. We are so annoyed that like because we're Jeep guys, but they don't do anything.
They have no presence.
They're not here.
Yeah.
They don't like Bronco's got to the Ford or Bronco Nation's got to be sponsored by Ford, right? Like.
So actually, I don't know how that works. Like with like the forum or whatever. I know that it's
not sponsored by Ford.
I don't think so. I think it's like their forum or whatever, and they just like make sure they have like a community kind of based thing at events.
I assumed Ford was involved in it in some way because everything over there is
Bronco.
Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe then. Yeah, maybe like Ford supports the group and the group like
they've got an off-rodeo guide Jeep Bronco.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And Ford too, something that's really impressed me is like Ford's model with like pricing. I love that. Like when the Bronco came out, I mean, it was like $26,800
and you could get that with the Sasquatch package for another $5,000, and it's ready to go.
Or the 64,000, first run or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely making the industry, I think, do fun things, and I feel like Subaru, Jeep will eventually start to catch on, because I mean, Honda's here. Honda's dumping tons of money.
The trail sports and stuff are pretty slick too.
Yeah.
Did you get to ride their trail that they did?
No, I'm gonna try to hit it up today.
It's
Friday
so
was
cool.
kind of wild, but
it's so impressive.
The most impressive thing for me on that was we're halfway through. I'm like, this is a good ride. Like, what do you guys have it aired down to? He's like, it's still straight pressure.
Oh, really? Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then there was the second creek crossing where you come up and it's banked and it's muddy and it didn't slide at all.
Yeah, it just walks.
Oh, sweet.
It just walked right through it.
Yeah. No, and I think that's it's kind of cool to see, like, outside of like Jeep, Subaru, Toyota, stuff like that, like other brands like leaning hard into the off-road, even if it is the more like soft roader, but because that's what most people are going to use.
I haven't heard that before.
Oh, the soft roader? Yeah. No, I'm all about it. If I've got a truck that's lifted and locked, but like if you don't need that, you can have a lot of fun in a Subaru or just a stock, whatever.
Just get out. It's pretty much just get out and drive. It's take whatever you have, get out in the woods and just go explore. It's the big thing I tell people is, like, they say, well, I want to get out and go explore and do more. Well, it's in your backyard. You don't have to fly over to Europe. You don't got to go to East Germany and see it's cool views over there. But literally, if you're in anywhere in the country, that's kind of, I think I feel like that's y'all's mission, is to show people that it is in your backyard.
Yeah, no, and like the motto about getting educated, getting outfit, get equipped, because you can get in trouble. It doesn't take much.
Your limits.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly too, a buddy of mine was traveling with a group just a couple weeks ago and had a dude on a 4Runner drop a tire and go down on a creek, rolled it, flopped it, and just on soft gravel, nothing technical. So not to say that like things can't go wrong, but as long as you're safe and you got some equipment and stuff like that. I always tell people in terms of like recovery stuff. One of the favorite times I ever used MaxTrax.
That was gonna be my next question.
It wasn't in an off-road situation. It was at a buddy's house, summertime, hanging out. A bunch of folks.
Like grass.
Oh yeah, dude got his car, with highway tires, like down over the edge of the driveway, letting other people, come by in some wet grass.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we need to go get the truck with a winch or grab the tractor. I was like, no. And like popped two MaxTrax off the top of the truck, threw them underneath, was like, all right, pull up on them. All right, now cut your wheel. All right, now, come on out.
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot safer than pulling cable or whatever. Yep. And B, just like super convenient. Like, why not,
Yeah, it seems like that the traction boards, I don't want to name any companies. I don't know who's listening. The traction boards are a staple in the Overland community. And the most I ever see them used for is leveling. I've been in the off-road community since, I've been wheeling my own vehicle since 2016, 2017. And I've never seen traction boards used successfully.
Oh, really?
Trying to recover anything. It's always leveling.
So, definitely.
That's just because we don't get stuck.
It's fair.
Stuck? What does it mean? Is that a German word?
Exactly,
No, and I get that. A lot of folks do use them for leveling and stuff, and if you got them in camp, like, why not? But no, I think I've been on plenty of trips. Used to do a lot of trips with the guys from Mountain State Overland.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, there is a spot that we are, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, not far from right now in southern West Virginia. We were doing a 5-day trip, and 150 yards in to the first road. Like, we all met up for breakfast. Now let's go. It was like 12 minutes later.
What type of people?
Yeah, it was. A creek had just cut the road in two, and so we were moving dirt by shovel, stuff like that, and then pretty much every traction board we had was getting stacked on top of logs for the downhill side because we just couldn't move enough dirt, and we took like 5 trucks. For your approach or departure angle, you just couldn't. You were rubbing bumpers. Or? Oh no, yeah, because it was like West Virginia, it's steep, and it was kind of like an inside curve is where the road went, and this water had just washed through into where like there was
no road,
like half a road was gone. So we shoveled dirt to where we could get a little closer into the bank, and then downhill, cut some trees, cut some logs, laid them in, and then stack like multiple layers of traction boards.
See, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
My favorite part of off-roading is the act of problem solving.
Yeah.
And the creativity to solve those problems.
Yeah.
That's that's why I love being out here. And like this weekend's fun because we're a good community, good people, good event.
Yeah. The most off-roading we've done is riding shotgun in a brand new Honda.
Yeah. And we were planning on actually going off-roading and getting out, but like it's so much fun to just be out here and be doing it.
Yeah, no, and that's one thing, we talk about like getting people out. Like I think all of our events are in spots, and I talked about this last night at the Toyota Fireside Chat when I was introducing the engineers and the folks that were doing the Q&A, that this is one of my favorite events because I'm an East Coaster through and through.
Hell yeah.
I like going out west, but like
we've converted Tom. Tom started in Colorado and now he's an East Coaster.
Well, I've always been an East Coaster. I grew up in New Jersey. I just lived in Colorado.
But you started your off-roading in Colorado.
No, I had an XJ as my first car when I was in high school.
I haven't finished my coffee yet.
I did a lot more off-roading in Colorado because it was more accessible. Yeah. And then I moved back here and kind of went the car route and ended up back into off-road when I met you guys. But
yeah. No, I mean, it's like not necessarily New Jersey, but up in that area, New England's got some of my favorite trips. Like we've I've talked about this at length on some other outlets, but like Vermont and New Hampshire are just like absolute diamonds. I mean, you can like people are like, oh, I want more challenging stuff, and they think they have to go out west. Nah, there's some like class 4 roads in Vermont that will swallow your truck whole. Yeah,
So can you explain the class of roads? Because I was listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
And you guys were talking about different classes of roads. And I've never heard that terminology before of actually grading roads.
I think that may just be like a New England, like Vermont, New Hampshire type thing. And at least in Vermont, the class 4s, and God, I wish we almost run down the hill and like get Ren from OK 4 Drive because he spends a lot of time up there to tell me if I'm misquoting. But they are public right of way, like, access roads. Like, you have every right to be there. But when they move them to class 4, that means they are no longer under
state maintenance,
like any type of maintenance, like county or state. And so some of them are like gravel roads; they're fine. But, there's some of them that like a half mile in, like a creek 10 years ago, cut it in two, and nobody's touched it since then.
Wild.
Yeah,
sounds like our kind of adventure.
Yeah,
it does. That sounds really fun.
It's so wet up there. The soil there's so much like loam in the soil that it's just like traction will disappear on you sometimes. And it's just absolutely beautiful too. Like southern Vermont and parts of New Hampshire, there's a ton of that stuff.
How long have you been wheeling East Coast or just in general?
Oh gosh, so I was probably in that like vein of like I grew up in the country. Mom and dad had property on the corner of my great grandparents' farm that was like hundreds and hundreds of acres. And, we would go down to the river in the river bottoms and camp, and it was just camping. And like, we get stuck in the river bottoms so they were too wet, that kind of thing. In terms of like overlanding, I think probably one of the first trips I did was a buddy and I in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to think there. Like, we'll call it 2014. Decided we were going to do the Trans-American Trail across Tennessee.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just the Tennessee portion. But I mean, people forget
still
Tennessee's 8 hours on, interstate.
Yep.
And we did it. I had the Gaia GPS app on my phone, but I didn't know enough about it, and probably honestly the phones weren't good enough.
I've been playing with Gaia for 2 years now. I'm still figuring it out.
So we had cue cards. I literally like went through using a moto website. A dude had done like the turns and the like distances, and I did like a inch thick stack of cue cards of like,
and then just watch the odometer.
Yep.
1.2
hit
miles,
reset,
make a left,
hit reset.
That's so cool.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
I would forget to hit reset, and we'd end up.
Whoa, no, so
Arkansas somewhere.
100%. We it was like 4 hours into this trip. We missed a turn, and we had state maps too, And I have a picture of my buddy Dave, and he has a map out on the hood of Tennessee, like pretty detailed. And you know the problem with having a map of Tennessee out on the hood?
It's long.
You need to be in Tennessee. We had crossed to Kentucky and hadn't realized it. Yeah. So we're like looking at these road signs. We're like, oh, that number's nowhere on this map.
Whoops.
That number's nowhere on the. Oh no!
Oh no! Wrong map.
Yeah, and we had crossed into Kentucky, and I mean, we were literally like that was the first pavement we had seen,
right?
And so we just backtrack, and there was like a sign with like orange spray paint on it. Was the state line, and that's how we like got back on route. Yeah.
So, of your adventuring for almost 10 years now, what's your favorite East Coast place to see wheel? If someone was to ask you from the West Coast, where do I have to go on the East Coast to wheel? Where would it be?
So
public lands, obviously.
Yeah, I'll split it up into two. If you want like difficult and a cool planned route, like if you're coming out here from Utah and you don't maybe have the time or the resources to like find your route, the Kentucky Adventure Trail. Jeff,
Sean and Dave were talking about that.
Jeff Stowe, don't know the guy, just from Facebook groups have seen him. That he has put in countless hours of work on that route, and it was originally more of like an ADV moto route, but there's a 4x4 route. And he has like hard sections and alternative sections and all that stuff. But man, that thing has a little bit of something for everybody. Plus, it gives you a good taste. Like it hits up some cool towns and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about. I mean, I haven't done a lot of West Coast stuff, but just the small towns that you find along the way is there's so much hidden history out here.
Yeah,
and so much cool stuff to find. Like we were coming down 340 from Northern Virginia because we didn't want to take 81, and we were driving and we were making a turn. I don't know what road we were. I think we were turning on to 6. Off of 151.
Oh yeah,
and he was talking on the radio. He was bitching about some Jeeps or something, and I couldn't get him to stop, so I just start pointing out the window. It was a 3-window race car that had rusted back into the earth.
There were 2 of them.
There's 2 of them.
Yeah, one was the second one.
Just sitting there.
Just sitting there.
Yeah.
One of them was on an old flatbed of like a 40s Dodge truck.
That was also rusting.
That was just rusting away. But you could see the roll cages in both cars. It was wild, yeah.
That is cool.
Just sitting in somebody's yard.
And then, honestly, Vermont, even for folks in the Southeast, it's a little different up there. You get up there, and like the woods are thick, and it's just a little different terrain. And then I really like West Virginia. I like West Virginia a lot. Was up there a couple weeks ago for Adventure X Fest that Mountain State Overland does at Experience Learning Center. That's near Seneca Knob.
Okay.
Or Seneca Rocks and all that area.
Yeah, that's not too far.
I'll be out there in 2 weeks. I'm running from Harper's Ferry down to Covington on the BDR.
Oh yeah.
In a few weeks.
Nice, yeah. But no, I guess you would call it. West Virginia's a really weird state shape, so it's hard to kind of be but I guess it would be like northeast or east/northeast West Virginia. So, Canaan Loop, all that's really cool. I like going up there a lot. So
yeah, that's right in the backyard. How often do you get out, or are you mostly at shows and doing stuff? Do you actually still get out and wheel a lot?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I do some overnighters and stuff like that. And there's kind of show season where that stuff's a little more intense. But no, I like getting out. I do a lot of trout fishing. And like to go out and camp out of the truck for fishing trips and stuff like that. And then I've done some work with Onyx in the past, like mapping trails, and not so much this year. We've been in our new house about a year and a half.
Okay.
Been busy kind of working on that, but before that, oh man, I was going I've got a buddy that's a flight nurse, and he was working kind of a similar schedule that I had. And on Fridays, we go out and map trails for 8 hours.
That's awesome.
I mean, but we may get up and drive 100 miles just to get to where we're mapping. We would drive a couple hours, map 50, 60 miles of roads and trails, and then drive back at the end of the day on a Friday. So stuff like that, because I'm a map nerd, so I really enjoy that. So
yeah, that's the logistics part is something that I'm trying to figure out is trying to plan routes and learn how to use Gaia. Yeah. Gaia's a super cool app, and I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos and talking to all my nerd map friends there just to try and figure out how to use it.
When we get done, I'll show you some other I like having tools in the toolbox. I've still got Gaia.
I've got Onyx.
I use Onyx probably as my majority of the navigation, but then Avenza maps.
You had walked away from the fire pit last night, but they were talking about if you pay for Onyx, you get way more features in the free version, which makes it significantly better, which I didn't realize either. And I'm like, Maybe I do one of the trials and get the full premium and try it out.
I think it's 100% worth it. I think it's really cool. And then Avenza maps for actually printing up topo maps and stuff like that. There's some cool tools out there, but I'm with you. I geek out on the logistics and the planning side of things.
Yeah, the gear is I'm a minimalist when it comes to gear, but the thing that I like to figure out is know exactly where we're going, trying to figure out where we're going to camp and do a lot of fun stuff.
That's why we work well together, because you plan everything. You're the map nerd, and then I'm the gear technical nerd, and ooh, this gives me an extra 3 inches of ground clearance, or if I do this, I can distribute more weight forward and get more traction.
Yeah.
So back to Expo, because we kind of got off track.
No.
If someone's coming to an Expo East for the first time, what's something that you think they have to do? And obviously, go see all the vendor spaces. Is there any sort of classes that you would highly suggest? Or
so this question was not planned, but if any of the listeners have been on our site, we just started like a new series where we do a article. It's going to be for every event. It's like what you need to know for your first Overland Expo. Chris Bradley is one of our staff writers. He's also in charge of the film festival. He's been doing that for years. He has been to every single Overland Expo.
That's awesome.
Like going back to when it was like 300 people in some random place in Arizona before they even moved it up north. Wow. Yeah. And he's like, we joke he's our historian, and he does a great job of like what you need to hit up. And I think honestly, getting on the site when we release like the class schedule and we talk about like the ride and drives and the parties and stuff like that, having a plan. It's really easy if you just roll up here to get overwhelmed and be like, oh man, I missed that. So, take a look at the class schedule, see what you want to hit up for those. They're essentially from when we open the gates until right before all the evening activities start.
Yeah, they've like medical classes. They've got how to start a fire with a knife. Yeah, like everything in between. Yeah, even how to experience Overland Expos. There was a 30-minute hour-long class of what to expect and how to make the most out of your time.
That actually evolved out of Chris's article.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think he had like 80 people pre-registered for that yesterday.
Nice. Okay, nice.
And then, like the ride and drives and stuff like that. I always tell people this is your chance to get hands-on with stuff, Yep. There's cool stuff here. Check it out. Instead of looking at it on your computer, like pick it up, turn it around.
The new, we got our hands on the new LX.
Oh,
GX,
yeah, the Lexus.
The Lexus.
Yeah.
LX GX. I'm always bad with the numbers.
No, the LX,
the numbers. It's the new LX.
Yeah.
That was cool to be able to see in person.
Yeah.
And the doors were shut, and it looked like there was a no-touch sign. Then I got closer.
There's definitely a no-touch sign.
No, there was not a no-touch sign. So I asked the guy.
Oh.
The LX, not the Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser had a gate around it.
Yeah, and it's that Land Cruiser prototype. That's like one of the first ones to be like out in front of people, like the public.
It's super cool. But to get our hands on the new LX was awesome. It's such a cool vehicle. I was so excited when that came out.
They had it out at P&W, and I really geeked out on it. They had one of the like the heritage colors or whatever they're going to call them, the two-tones, and it looks really good in that. Oof. So, let's see. Sorry, the boss.
Are you good?
Shot in here. Oh, just about breakfast.
The important stuff.
No, the boss is taking care of us, making sure we stay fed.
Is the whole show crew camping together?
No, so quite a few folks that fly in because we're all over the country are staying down the road up near Livingston, 15 minutes in a little joint up there. But quite a few folks are camping too.
All the local guys are camping. The guys that drove the trucks in.
Yeah. And for me, I'm an hour from my driveway. So I'm just camping behind the show office.
Nice.
So we've seen a lot of cool trucks here. Just unbelievable stuff coming from the Jeep world we're in, where everything's the same.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite vehicle that you've seen at this show? Because there's so much cool stuff here.
So I'll give you two. I'm like real bad to be like, no, you can't just have one answer. Like really wild stuff. There is a 110 Defender down there with an LS swap. That's pretty sick.
Is that the Arconic?
Yeah. I've seen that. I've actually seen that truck a couple of times. It's in the front runner booth, I think.
They're out of North Carolina, I think.
Yeah, somewhere.
That's all they do is LS swap. Early Defenders.
That's awesome. Like Defender, Resto mod type stuff. Yeah, that thing's real sick. Because
PJ's buddy from school actually just took a job down there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because if you just like saw it on the street, you'd never know there was anything about it. But I bet it absolutely will stand up and walk.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
And then in terms of like the vendor, or that's the vendor area, and camping or like the day pass, I saw a guy down there. It's got like a current gen like 2500 Ram with a flatbed and like some sort of vintage pop, like not actually, I don't even know if it's a pop top, some sort of vintage overcab camper.
That's cool.
Like it's aluminum, but it arches over the front of the truck.
Huh.
You know how a lot of them now arch towards the windshield. This is the other axis. And I actually was like coming back up from my truck and saw it, and I was like, I'm gonna get in here and get some pictures of this thing after this podcast.
Yeah, my goal, one of my goals today is to walk the parking lot.
Yeah.
Because like any show, the coolest stuff, there's cool stuff in the vendor area. The coolest stuff is always in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And you see how people innovate and take the stuff from the vendor area and make it their own and see how they actually use it.
Oh, 100%. So, we always do a couple different articles like best gear of Overland Expo East, P&W, whatever, best rigs. And I'll hit up the vendor area, but the camping area and, even like the day parking area, if I can get into it easy, just make a lap with the golf cart looking for cool stuff.
Yeah, last year we saw like a Japanese fire truck in the
the
parking trucks.
The High Ace. Yeah.
I love
that was so cool. I was like,
obsessed
what
with
the hell
K-trucks.
is that?
I want one.
So there's actually a guy that's in Central North Carolina that like imports massive amounts of them, and a buddy of mine went and like picked one out. He ended up I think he ended up with the Subaru. And it was it's pretty cool.
I think there's a guy out of Richmond that does it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
where we need to get in that game.
I've seen the math of you can buy them from Japan for like $700
Yeah,
you can fit 6 of them in a shipping container. So for $5,000, you get 6 of them
versus one if you buy it. Yeah.
But then you got to deal with the whole registration and titling process, which is a nightmare.
Yeah,
it just takes time, and it's like, and then I got to convince 5 friends that they also need
a K truck. Yeah.
So we can all
that's easy to convince.
Yeah,
it's funny. You're starting to see them built too, with like roll cages and lifts, and it's like
they're just retrofitting all the side by side parts onto it.
It's like one of the YouTube guys did an LS swap in its front end rear steer with Silverado parts.
Holy cow!
It's so sweet. It's at LS Fest every year. I can't remember his name.
Hoonigan's got the rotary version of it. Like they put a rotary in it. Like there's so many cool things I feel like you can do.
I don't remember who it is, but there's a dude on Instagram that they actually take 2 K trucks out, and they have like mini bikes, like the little like Tractor Supply style bog bikes, the the wide mud tires.
Yeah,
and they'll like go out and then roam around on their bikes and use their K trucks as like the base camp.
Fun.
Yeah. No,
it's micro overlanding to the max.
I know. I thought micro overlanding was the 2-door.
Our driveway is like 350 yards long, and I've joked about getting a K truck to check the mail.
Yeah, there you go.
I can turn around the driveway.
That'd be awesome. I should tell my wife that I should get a K truck because I've got the same thing. I've got like a 300-yard driveway. I definitely need that.
Run the trash down.
Yeah.
Oh no, trash goes by the house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
And then you can 3-point turn it like in a hallway. So yeah. No, it's cool because like. In terms of like the vehicles and stuff, you're right. Like the enthusiasts that bring really neat stuff out here. I think it was East last year. There was a guy had I have to go back. Some Land Cruiser enthusiasts are gonna like roast me in the comments on this. He had a like 70s Australia Troopy that he had fully built the interior himself. So it was like a 45, or something like that.
45 is the long wheelbase.
And then I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, this is one of them." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, I have another one just like it at home."
Wild.
He had imported 2 at the same time. Yeah.
Was it a diesel?
Yeah. He was like
Was it Tom's customer?
I don't think it was Overland built out, or was it just like restored?
No, I wouldn't even say that. Like it was. He had some patina on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a customer. He's from Pakistan. He has 2 that he imported from his hometown in Pakistan.
Oh no, these were both Aussies. He even had the kangaroo bar on the front of one of them. Yeah.
But right-hand drive diesel. They're really, really cool rigs. Yeah.
No, and it was neat because it was like it had some rust. It had like
looks like it's been used.
Yeah, and it was just like literally all weekend long. It was down here, kind of like in the open area. People were just like magnetized, like just coming towards it because it was so cool.
There's see in the U.S.
There's I don't know what it is. It's a Land Cruiser, not a Land Cruiser, a Defender, like an older Defender with just the cabinet and a truck bed on it, somewhere in the parking lot that I saw yesterday walking back.
Oh, that's cool.
And I want to go find that today.
Yeah.
And we saw a CJ5 with a CJ8 with an Overland trailer on it that looks sweet too. That I want to go find.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, little breeze. If you hear some wind noise, listeners,
feels nice actually after yesterday.
It does.
I think I'm still sweating from yesterday.
Still sweating from yesterday.
Yeah, we were getting ready, like the fireside chat for Toyota, and it was like 78 degrees.
Do we have to light the fire?
But thankfully, as soon as the sun went down, this time of year, it dropped a lot. Yeah, and people were doing s'mores and stuff. But there was a minute where I was like, I don't want to be next to a fire.
It's nice. Like I didn't expect to be excited to see rain and coolness this morning.
Yeah.
But like, it was so hot yesterday. So like, just this morning was just t-shirt and. I only brought jeans, but t-shirt and jeans outside just dealing with the rain because it was nice to finally cool down a little bit.
Yeah, I think today's supposed to be really nice, like sunny and stuff like that. I'm going to probably pop a solar panel out on the truck here in a minute and top off my battery. That's so cool, too.
That's something that I discussed. I knew solar panels existed. I didn't realize they were so prevalent, and I didn't know you could use just alligator clips to charge your stuff.
Yeah.
I thought you had to have a whole battery management system. That's one thing that I learned this trip is it's as easy as alligator clips to your battery and charge all your stuff up with it.
There's some really neat, because I'm an idiot with that stuff. Like a joke, if you listen to other podcasts, keep the smoke inside the wires. It's just like trauma, keep the blood inside the human. That's
how all electronics work. There's magic smoke inside of them. If you let it out, they stop working.
Yeah. It's like it's real hard to get it back inside. I've actually got really simple, just battery bank, EcoFlow, Mini Delta. My fridge hooked up to it, camera batteries charged and stuff like that, and then one of their 110 watt, the solar controller's built in. I can plug another 100 watt into that. and have no problems. But then, like I'm always tempted some of these systems from like Victron and GP and Red Arc and all that stuff. There's some cool stuff out there. Yeah. So
the set it and forget it concept is
really nice.
Like I have a Skinny Guy camper on my truck as a demo unit, and like it's got that full Red Arc solar panel, and we've been out in the woods in the shade, and the Red Arc will calculate at your usage how long you have, and it's told me like 11 days to run off an 80 amp hour battery to run the fridge and a couple lights.
Yeah, and I tell people, like, if you can use your thermostat in your house, you can use those. I mean, it's that intuitive. So
it's you just literally drop a battery in it and you're done.
Yeah, I think my next truck will probably be a full size with a flatbed, tray bed, and then some sort of camper that I can pop on and off.
Yeah,
and I want to do that, like a full integrated, like where literally all I do is when I drop the camper on there, and the jacks get pulled off of it, plug in the power, drive off. Don't have to worry about it.
Shameless plug, but I one of the reasons I was drawn to the Skinny Guy camper is like the only thing that attaches that to my truck is a couple straps.
Yeah,
because like it's a 2500. It's my basic daily driver. I run parts in it. I need the truck to be a truck.
Yeah.
So it just
tying up bed spaces.
Yeah, even doing a bed rack, like something that requires a wrench to take on and off.
I think the Aussies have had it figured out for a while with like the tray beds and the cargo box and stuff like that.
That's definitely the way to go.
That was my goal when I had I had 2500 diesel, and that was my goal before we rushed it out, was to do a tray bed and just make it the true Aussie truck. I mean, the Aussies have the coolest stuff with the tray beds, the utes.
Yeah.
Like all the cool... a lot of the cool vendors here are Australian-based vendors.
Yep.
I mean, Australia has a really good hold on the overland market because that's their country.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's their... Yeah, if you go camping, you're touring, as they call it, out there. No, I'm with you. Like Mitts, Norweld, like some folks like that make some really cool stuff.
The Overland Expo truck that you guys built last year.
The AT4.
AT4.
Yeah.
That was really nice.
So I had that thing for about a week, and you want to know like a thing you never know you needed until you have it, is that drawer in the back that holds like a camp table.
Yeah.
Because like camp tables are tricky. Like they're the first thing you want out and the last thing you want to pack. But unfortunately, they're like it's the worst way to pack them.
Yeah.
So they just had a drawer where the camp table fit perfectly. And just like it could be the last thing in camp, and then boom, drop it in this little drawer, shut it, let's go.
It's the little details.
Yeah,
it's all in the details. I think that going full circle back to our innovation conversation, I think the details, the small details, are really where the products are changing. Like a rooftop tent's a rooftop tent, but it's the rain guards, it's the awnings, it's the ladder hookups, it's the deployment, it's all the insulation, all the small things about the tent that make them different and better.
Which all comes from customer feedback.
And I mean,
that's how that's one of the big things you do here as a shop, is give your feedback on products and say, hey, my customers really like this, they don't like this, and you see the guys taking notes so they can go back to the R&D team and develop.
Well, even the other half of that is I can't purchase and use every product, so I'm getting feedback for what people like, what they don't like about a product, that way I can fit it to somebody's needs of like, oh, okay, you're just going to do a couple overnighters. Like, you don't need a camper with solar and whatnot.
No, I tell people, like, he's into this. We joked about soft rotors. Like, we've got a Gazelle tent that we've used for years.
I found out about Gazelle this weekend. I'm getting one.
Yeah, like
I wish I could afford a show special right now, but I can't.
No, they always have a deal.
They're so nice.
Yeah. And like the first time I ever used mine was like the what not to do in the camping manual. It was like 10 p.m. and it was raining, and I had never unzipped the bag, and I was still inside the tent in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, Yeah, you guys was showing us yesterday because I was looking at the T3X.
Yeah,
T3X, and you're like, how easy does this come down? He's like, you pushed it.
Yeah.
And it folds right up, and it right into a small bag.
30 seconds.
Yeah, and the T4, like I've used those on like fishing trips, where like may get socked in the rain and stuff, and have like 2 cots in there, a cooler in the middle for like a side table, like hang out with a buddy, play cards, stuff like that. You can stand up to change clothes, things like. So if you're in it, socked in there, it's not miserable.
Yeah, I think for the people like me who are committed, I didn't commit. I kind of had to, because I don't like a rooftop tent on a 2-door.
Yeah.
So I'm committed to the ground tent life.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%.
I haven't seen.
You've got dogs, easy for them to get in and out.
Yep.
Yeah,
they got 2 70-pound dogs. So
so
it makes life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang out with us.
No, it's been fun. Thanks for
you got a lot of running around to do. I'm looking forward to. We're gonna reach out and try to do some wheeling because, like I said, my mom's in Bedford.
Yeah.
We're 3 hours away, 2.5 hours away in Winchester. So
yeah, no, for sure. You're down on your mom's, like, I mean, literally the other end of the county. We can get you on some trails and stuff like that. Like Enchanted Creek, you know, you already know about that one. That's kind of like a hidden one.
That's a Virginia staple.
Yeah.
If you see, I found it on one of the off-road forums on Facebook. I'm like, that's in Virginia?
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's
and what's
right
weird,
there.
it's only like 7 miles, right? Like Enchanted Creek's not that long. But it's neat. I was telling one of the guys from Toyota, I was like, yeah, the coolest part's that CCC tunnel that goes underneath the parkway. It's like, I'm all about some full size, but I took a 4Runner with a decent sized tent through that thing and was like,
man, we were planning on taking his Duramax through it.
It's not lifted. That's the one benefit.
You should be okay. And it, like the approach, the angles of like, there's no like turns, stuff like that. And I mean, it's at least, you know, you can get in there and be like, oh, not going to fit, back out, you know, that kind of thing. But it's pretty cool to be driving under a tunnel that's been there for, you know, like whatever, maybe not 100 years, 75 years.
Yeah.
And the Blue Ridge Parkway is on top of you. So,
That's cool.
Cool, man. Do you have anything you want to plug? Give a shout out to Expo? You're here on behalf of Expo. We may have gotten off the rails and talked about everything, but
no. Just first off, I think you guys did a good job of kind of covering, like, you know, what to expect. And if you haven't been to Overland Expo before, hop on the site, check out the Compass. That's the blog component for Overland Expo. And take a look at what's going on. We try to really feature, you know, like Honda's Ride and Drive had its own article, so you know what to expect. So dig in there, get a game plan, figure out what's like applicable to you. You know, we release everything from like the full class schedule to like the vendor list. So you can, you know, make a plan. And if you don't know where to start, I mean, this is the place too to like show up and be like, we want to get into this, but are we a, you know, like triple locked on 35s, or are we a Subaru family?
Yeah.
Like you can figure that out because both groups are like, you know, represented here. Yeah.
So there's a Volkswagen right there with a rooftop tent. Everyone's here, and there's something for everyone no matter what you're doing. Whether you've got a horse trail and you want to camp conveniently for the weekend, or you need a Rome Overlander or Rome expedition vehicle, whatever they are.
Earth Roamer.
And honestly too, I mean, something we didn't touch on, but East Coasters, I feel like they're side by side. You know, like we've got players down here and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wanted to go talk to them today and see how that can be used in like the national forest and like actually be utilized on the East Coast, because I feel like everything you have to access by public road. It's a short drive on fire roads or in the national forest, and then you got to get back on a public road to get somewhere else because it's so developed around here and how that works legally. So I was going to talk to them about that today.
But you know, the other cool thing about those is like there's like some of those off highway vehicle areas. There's like Kairos up in West Virginia where you really can't take, well, they don't allow trucks in there, but like, you know, the trails just aren't meant for trucks anyway, but you want to do an overnighter out there, like boom, there you go. You know. But no, again, something for everybody. It's been maybe, you know, beat the horse a little bit, but I'll plug the Virginia show one more time. It's a good time. A great way to network, you know, like they said, the Virginia 4x4 Association, stuff like that. And then just meet like-minded folks, you know, like you said, you got suckered in to spend another night because you're going to make friends here. Undoubtedly.
We got hooked up somehow with the F-Bomb Overlanders, and we met them Thursday when we showed up, sharing beers, having a good time, cooking each other dinner. You just find friends everywhere, and that's one thing we preach about the off-road community is we found it in rock crawling, we're finding it in overlanding, is everyone here is approachable. Everyone here wants to talk to you about their build. They want to talk to you about your build. Like it's just fun. There's so much community, and it's what makes it the best.
Maybe to close it out, but it's funny. Yesterday I was riding around with a guy from Toyota just to check out the show, and that's what he said is that, you know, like this group, like the people here are like in this together. Like everybody's excited about what everybody else is doing, and it's really cool to see that. It's not just like the look at me show for anybody. You know, it's like, oh yeah, no, here's how I did this. Well, what do you think? Oh wow, no, that's really smart. Like you're talking about the power solutions, you know? Like there's somebody here has it figured out, and it is like any component of this. So but no, guys, thanks for the invite for the podcast too. It's been a good time.
Where can people find you?
Right now I'm at Overland Expo East. By the time this airs, I probably won't be here.
Where can people find you online?
Oh yeah, so no, you're good. So the Compass, check out the Compass Overland Expo. That's the blog component. You know, when you hit overlandexpo.com, right below the page break where we keep all of our newest content up there. Then also Blue Ridge Overland Gear, marketing communications there. Usually having a good time and being mildly unprofessional on social media with that.
That's what we do.
And then just Rick Stowe. That's I try to keep all the other stuff pretty simple. But yeah, no, it's fun. You know, blessed to have a lot of fun at work on multiple fronts.
Man. Well, all right. I appreciate being on. Look forward to experience the show again today.
Yeah.
Keep meeting cool people, and look forward to running into you out on the expo area.
Yeah. No, I'm going to go check out some rigs here in a little bit. And like you said, hit the campground. I didn't get a chance to do that yesterday to see what's out there. So
yeah, I want to talk to these expedition vehicles and see how the hell they use them out on the East Coast. That's my next conversation.
There was a dude last year, if he's here, I hope he is, from the DC area that had like a sleeper 200 series build.
Okay.
Like from 50 yards, you'd be like, oh, that thing's stock. And then you get close and you're like, those tires are a little bigger.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing with my Wrangler. I've got a two-door Wrangler. I'm trying to make it look like dealer options.
Yeah.
Like it should have come from the factory that way.
He had color matched steel bumpers.
Ooh.
Winch. Like a 2-inch lift, so he was running like maybe like kind of fat 33s. I don't remember now. Like a really low profile rack, and then like a full kitchen build out. But like if you shut that thing up, you'd walk by in the parking garage, never look twice. Yeah,
that's awesome. Those are my favorite.
Yeah,
yep.
It should have come that way. Is the way I like to build vehicles.
And then you guys, Jeep guys, there was a really sick J10 here, right? Is that the old pickup?
Yeah.
There was a sick J10 here last year too. So
I don't remember that from last year, but.
He was like down here in like no, this camping area. So there was like another camping area behind that fence, and he was down there. It was of course, I mean it was like a J10, so it was like creamsicle orange and like off white or something. Nice. But it was cool. So,
cool, man.
Gotta love the 70s.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks again. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.
Of course.
Yeah.
And to our listeners, you know where to find us. DirtNerdsOffroad.com, The Dirt Drive, Dirt Nerds Offroad, and Dirt Nerds Motors, where we are the Dirt Nerds. Thank you guys for listening. Follow Rick. Follow Overland Expo. Blue Ridge. Overland Gear. I should have known that. I was on the tip of my tongue. Check them out. Really cool event. Really cool products. And we look forward to seeing you guys here next year at East and at every other event. Or I mean, we're talking about going to West next year.
Maybe not next year, but
not next year. You're looking forward to seeing you guys at Overland Expo at some point in the near future. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Do you want more ridiculousness from the Dirt Nerds? Check out DirtNerdsOffroad.com. It'll link to all of our social media, as well as our YouTube page, and you can pick up some sweet merch to help support the podcast and other adventures.